Here we go. There. Yeah, look, it's because I've got too many devices. Hello, everyone. You probably didn't hear us talking beforehand. You've seen the mime who was Tracy van der Schyff doing interpretive dance about her journey with Office 365 and a bunch
Everyone
of
would have gotten this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So Daryl's just managed to figure out that audio needs to actually play through to actually keep an audience.
Anyway.
Yes. Welcome. We're saying congratulations to Tracy van der Schyff for her awesome 2-year anniversary of the 365 days of Microsoft 365. And we want to hear a bit more about this journey, and we're going to ask you to repeat what you just said now that you've had your dress rehearsal. How did you get started with this?
So I was having a salad.
Salad?
Because no good story starts with I was having a salad. Okay, let's get that out of the way. But it was the 29th of Feb. It was a leap year thing for me. I was just sitting in my garden and reflecting on the year, and for some odd reason this picture came into my head. It was the story we used to watch as kids called Around the World in 80 Days, and the 365 came up to me for Office 365, and I thought, how about I do this thing around the office in 365 days? You know, this journey of going through all the apps and services and sharing what I'm learning with people, because up to then I'd written about, 30 blogs. And I always kept on saying I wanted to blog more. I would always say this month I'm going to blog twice, and then 3 months later I've blogged nothing. It was just amazing how I didn't do that. And I so desperately wanted. But I also was under this crazy impression that you should only blog when you're an expert and when you know everything. And then I thought that I was going to change that and say, and be right up front with everyone and say, I want to share with you my journey into learning Office 365 so that people could be comfortable and learn with me as I figure things out. I didn't have to know them yet. I was trying to figure things out. So the second thing was putting a challenge to myself, because of course it's a personal challenge that I've done, was to force me to do this, because if you don't challenge yourself, we kind of like make excuses, I suppose. And then the third thing I did is I had 2 glasses of wine and I put it on social media. And that's where everything changes, because I woke up that next morning going, oh, and I went like, oh, that's too late. I can't change this. I can't say, yeah, that was a great idea. I actually have to do this now. So that's kind of how the first challenge started, Daryl.
Wow. And that's like you say, it wasn't over a salad, but what I like about that is it is about exposing that journey. It's a keen thing of mine. I like to hear that IT pros are not scared to say, I'm learning and I'm going to take you along with me, and do that out loud. That's really cool. Hey, I know that we've got a number of the team on here. I think it was 7 or 8. Someone did the count off before. Look, feel free to pitch in, guys and girls, and ask Tracy some questions. Maybe there's a favorite episode or favorite blog post that Tracy's written that you might want to ask her about, or I'll leave it open.
This is Owen. I don't have a favorite blog post, but I do realize, Tracy, how you started moving into video throughout your things. Did you also see that there were maybe a lot of topics at the beginning that you changed from? Do you wish, your mix is all over the place. How did you settle on a mix of topics?
Okay, so firstly, there was no inspiration behind the video thing. There is some truth behind it. So a quick story on that. I remember, I can't remember how long it was ago, Daryl, but I remember having a conversation with Daryl one day, and he said, no, Trace, you've got to put your video on. I'm like, I'm not going to put my video on. And he convinced me to put my video on, and he nagged me. He said, you got to start getting used to this, So because I'd never done video before, and if I did, I deleted that little block in the corner, okay? That's how I made videos. I was like, no, let's move that face out of this. And so I didn't decide to start doing video because I still have a bit of a opinion about how people consume content. I think the biggest challenge I ever had was that I write content for people who don't read blogs yet. And that's a interesting thing to kind of figure out. So we always think about blogs and videos are actually more technical people that are searching and troubleshooting and finding answers for themselves. The users that I was targeting just wasn't there yet. So that's quite a difficult thing to get that word out and to get that information there for them so that they could consume that content. The video thing, why that started is, and that's a very important lesson that I learned out of the second challenge that I did. So, of course, I finished Office 365, and then I said I'm never going to blog again. And then 2 weeks later, I went like, man, I'm so bored. What am I going to do? And then Microsoft launched Microsoft 365, and I was like, no, now I have to do this again. So, so I started the second one, but the first challenge, I said, I will write a blog every single day for 365 days. So the closest I ever got to not making that was after a SharePoint Saturday in the back of an Uber at 10 to 12. I wrote a blog on my phone because I nearly forgot. And it was such a stressful thing for me because, and again, it's a personal challenge. It was for me. So the second challenge, when I started it up, I was being all like grown up about this. I said that, no, I'm still going to do 365 blogs. But it doesn't have to be one a day. If I now and then skip a blog due to work, stress, and blah, 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 then I'll do 2 on a weekend, right? So that was all fine. And then a couple of months ago, I did a blog count, and I was 122 blogs behind. Because that's what happens when you lower your expectations, is you lower your goals. So my previous blogs would take me 3 to 4 hours to write a blog because I did a lot of screenshots and things. And I then said, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't do 2 or 3 blogs a day to catch up through writing blogs. And that's why I swapped over to video. And then, of course, as well, because Office 365 is amazing, we figured out that I could post on YouTube. I could use Flow to take it to WordPress, write a blog, put the video in, and distribute it on social media. So the video was just a way of catching up because I got so behind. I mean, that's why this last couple of weeks I was doing 4 posts a day. But I said to myself, I will still make my day because tomorrow, exactly a year ago, I started the challenge. Well, today, actually, it's the 25th. Today, exactly a year ago, I started the challenge. So for me, I had a day, 24th of July, I had to finish no matter what. If I fell behind, I would catch up. I apologized on social media to everyone. And I said, please unfollow me if my stuff drives you crazy. This is something I have to do. So there was no magic behind the video and stuff. When it comes to topics that I pick, also no magic there. Sometimes it's quite stressful. I like, I don't always get inspired to say, oh, it's going to be this today. So there's a lot of resources that I used when I didn't just come up with an idea, because normally I would write about something that a client had asked or that someone needed to know, or someone would reach out to me on social media and say, hey, Trace, I don't know how to do this. And then I would write about that. But some days I would just sit down and say, I would go to the Office 365 roadmap. So the Office 365 roadmap, what's new in Office 365, those type of things I followed so closely, and it's the best thing I could ever have done because I learned new stuff every day. Even as a consultant, when you think you're exposed to everything, the fact that I forced myself in this challenge to share stuff with people forced me to go and stay up to date, which was incredible. That was the best part of this journey. Long answer, sorry, but no fancy inspiration there, Owen. That's how that happened.
Next
that
question.
answered my question. That answered my question because I was going to ask if you actually, so the first year you actually wrote 1 every day. The second year you kind of fell a little bit behind, had to do a little catch up. I was actually going to ask if you kind of pre-set up some of your blog posts.
No. I would have to be a very scheduled, planned, structured adult to be able to do stuff like that, and that doesn't fall into my categories of doing anything. I mean, people must probably thought, oh, shame, she's just publishing all her blogs now because she hasn't published them all. No, sweetie. Whenever I put a blog out there, I had just written it before that, okay? There was no planning in this. I didn't have time for that.
Very cool. Anyone else got a question there? I'm sure there's tons.
Yeah, I'll kick in. So Tracy, congratulations, and
Thank
very,
you.
very awesome of you to do this. My question is around what advice you would give to somebody that's wanting to do the same because they are so inspired by what you're doing.
The first advice I'd give you is don't do it every day.
Set a different goal.
Wow. I did a different one between the two blog challenges. I did the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy 42-week blog challenge. I did it for like 5 blogs, and then I went back into Microsoft 365. So you can do something else that's pretty cool. But I think if I had to give advice to anyone, and again, I think people are scared to put themselves out there. We're so scared for other people looking at us, reading our stuff, scrutinizing it, saying she doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, what on earth? So kind of position yourself as a and find, what would the word be? Alistair would come up with a good word for this. He's always good at it. But find that where you kind of understand, your users feel that you understand them. It's not that you're this fancy pants writing about stuff and they're struggling. And that's what I really try to do, is I try to be a user. I try to share my journey with them. So that helped me to tell my story. I didn't just see it as me putting something else out there. I think the second piece of advice would be is don't think if it's been written already, you can't write it. That's another thing that we do, is like, oh, no, some Peter in Mexico has already put that blog out there. I'm not going to put that blog out. 7.5 billion people. I mean, you get to a point where you realize that the world is so big and there's so many people that need to learn that that just having Microsoft put a blog up doesn't get the message out. So I think that's another important thing to remember, is that the more we can help people get the word out, the better it is. And not so much a lesson learned, but, well, it is a lesson learned for me, is that it really helps me to learn to write. So instead of writing things in a book, I wrote them in a blog. Because a lot of times I would read a blog and I'd go, oh, that is so cool. I really, really need to think of that. So an example would be 2 of the blogs that I put out yesterday, which is the conditional formatting with JSON in SharePoint. I read that blog months ago. Have I done anything with it? Nope. I had to sit down and go try it. And now I'm going to remember it. Now I'm not going to even think about it again. I don't have to. So the blogging was a way for me as well of making notes to go back to my notes. It was my own little Wikipedia, but somewhere on a server. And then it became other people's little Wikipedias, I suppose. So I think it's just about doing it, Liz. But I think the human nature in us is that we'll say we want to do 2 or 3 blogs and then we don't. And I've realized that I do well with challenges. So I'm not saying I'm going to put another 365 out, even though Dan Holmes already on Facebook said, hey, Trace, do it again. I'm like, he's not being a friend, is he? But it really helps linking it to something cool, if that makes sense, because it helps you to have a timer. It helps you to stick to something, because our lives get so crazy and they consume us. And if you just have a goal that you've put out there, and I mean, you don't have to go crazy like I did, but have a goal, because goals makes us achieve things. Thinking things and wanting to do things doesn't get you far in life. So if you want to do it and put it out there. If you want to say that I'm going to write 5 blogs this year, do it. Say it, make it a goal and achieve it. And it's possible. I think if this Afrikaans girl all the way from Cape Town can do this, then anyone can. I mean, that's what the lesson is.
Dean, I hear a lot of agreeing mutterings there. Did you have a question for Tracy as well?
No, I wanted to say I'm very impressed, and I would like to know more about the video portion of what you've done. I mean, give us a sense of, from the time that you had the idea until, you were done, how long would it typically take for you to put something like that together?
So something that helped me, again, is on Daryl's side. He had an idea somewhere, and it wasn't even me putting it into my blog. I didn't see it as part of my challenge. He somewhere spoke to me and said, Trace, why don't we do these 5-minute office snippets, right? And I said, Daryl, can I just finish this challenge, please? And then I went like, wait a minute, we can actually, Daryl said, no, man, why don't we cross-post and we work it into your challenge? So I'm so glad he did that, because good grief, I would have come up with little 30-minute snippets of how to build a SharePoint site from start to end. Because that was another thing that I struggled with my blogs is I would take days to write a blog because I thought it had to include everything like this. So that was quite a mind change for me, to think of things in snippets and how people consume stuff. So as long as I numbered things and I could say part 1 of 21, people could follow a little series, and I could do short videos. So that was a saving grace, is that my videos were short, okay? Otherwise, I would have done them too long. So the videos I put out, I don't think there's a single one that I went over. Every single video was capped at 5 minutes. Some of them were shorter, but every single video was capped at 5 minutes, which means a 5-minute video clip would take me, let's say, 10 minutes to record. And then depending on where I'm in, would take me anything from 10 minutes to an hour to clean up because of credentials. So that whole credentials and cleaning that up sometimes takes long. And I would just so suggest, you know what, go buy a dummy tenant so that it doesn't matter if the credentials, because man, that's painful, cleaning up credentials in videos. Obviously takes longer. So, but normally I would have said 5 to 10 minutes to record. I did it in Camtasia as well. So thank you, Microsoft and MVP, for giving me a Camtasia license.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have just recorded it in PowerPoint, by the way. Did you know PowerPoint can record videos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was post 167 for you, I think.
Well done.
Funny. But yeah, so then it would take me anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to clean up, depending. But you get clever as well. When I record it, you start recording different so that you don't show so many credentials. So my planning got better and better. So my cleanup got easier. But most of the time, I could get that 5-minute video blog out in anywhere between 20 and 45 minutes a blog. Still, it's not that short, but it's shorter than 3 to 4 hours in the blogs I used to write.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Hi,
You're welcome.
Tracy. It's Joanne. Congrats to you. You've done awesome. Aside and apart from, of course, all of the Microsoft and Office 365 stuff, I think what I'm most impressed by is not only your ability to set a goal, but to carry through, which is, really difficult. I mean, I'm always setting goals, and sometimes I carry through with them and sometimes I don't. So what I would like to know is, how did you motivate yourself for that long to carry through with that?
So let's talk about goals and not achieving them. I'd really like to lose 10 kgs, but I haven't done it yet, have I? So that doesn't make me amazing at all. What is the difference? The difference is I just said that on video. The difference is that that's out on social media. Setting goals in your head, setting goals out there is different. So the thing that made me stick to it is, number one, that I set a challenge for myself. Number two, I made it widely known on social media so that I had people that could keep me accountable. That's as easy as that is. I didn't want to disappoint people, and not that anyone would come to me and say, hey, loser, so you failed out on day 45 or 245. No one would have done that, okay? Except maybe Al. I'm joking, Alison. but no one would have done that, okay? So it was about me not wanting to disappoint myself. But the big thing is, if I had not told anyone about it, I would have just stopped at day 137 and say, hey, I've done 137 blog post challenge. It was because I made it known and because I wanted to be held accountable for it. So I think it's not as smart pants as what you think it is. I'm not this amazing person who can stick to goals. I had lots of people that made me stick to my goals that I didn't want to let down, even though they wouldn't have minded.
Well, good on you. It's fantastic.
I think that's
so. Tracy, if you've
you go ahead, Dan.
Okay, yeah, Tracy, if you so when you finished your first year, you said you were like, okay, I'm done with that, and because you were doing it one a day and you kept it, and then you turned around and started it again. Have you started thinking about, are you going to set another goal? I'm not asking you, are you going to do this again, for another year? Maybe you are, but what I'm asking is, are you considering setting another goal? Like you said, putting it out there and saying, I'm going to do it. I want to set it and run with it. Have you thought about that?
I'm going to have to, Dan. I'm serious. I don't know what it is yet. It's not going to be another 365 for sure. Definitely not. But again, I'm very inspired by specific symbols and numbers. So I'm going to take a couple of weeks and let something grow on me. Maybe I'll finish my Hitchhiker's Guide, which was one a week. Maybe I'll get back onto my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy one, which was a very cool thing. So maybe I can just continue with that. But I do know myself that I've obviously written a lot. And what's incredible is that I finished yesterday and I thought, I have so much still to say. There's so many things I didn't write about. I never even got to mobility and security. I never spoke about all that. Because sometimes I would get stuck in PowerPoint and that's me for days. Because PowerPoint's just amazing. So I know that if I don't set this challenge for myself, I'll just stop blogging because I'm that bad. I would say, no, I'm going to take this week off. I'll write by next Friday, and then something happens. And it's not that there's anything in the world that says I have to write a certain number of times. It's not about that. It's about a value that I have to add and people that I can help. But as a human, if I didn't set a challenge myself, I'd let it slide. I don't know if you guys experience that, but it's amazing how you can look back after a year and go, oh, wait, I did 7 blogs or I did 3. I mean, it's the same as you and Daryl, where you have that weekly thing. And that's a challenge without you realizing it because you've given it a name and there's a series to it. So that makes us do things. So that helps me. I'll have to come up with that. So I don't know what it's going to be, but otherwise I'll just slide into being a couch potato. It's going to happen. I'm going to
No, I don't think it will. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried that I would. And you know what? Maybe I'm very hard on myself, that I've just got so much cool stuff. Maybe I'll do it a bit different. There's some very cool things that I want to do, and I've really enjoyed the blogging, so the video side. So I think I might advance a bit on that and do things a bit different. But I'll definitely, I do suspect I'll come up with another challenge. Or not a challenge, maybe just a way of life, like what you guys are doing. That's not a challenge. It's not saying it must be 12 a year, but saying that, hey, guys, once a week, I want to have this online, and maybe that's a cool idea. I love creative stuff, and a lot of people struggle with it. Maybe once a week I must do an online training session for creativity in Office 365 or something. I mean, that could be quite a cool thing.
Realistic goals, eh? I'll just ring the bell there on L and see if he's ready to wake up and say something. But while he's waking his mic up and his video, I think
I'm here.
Good stuff.
What's that, Daryl?
I was going to ask you for a question for Tracy, but I'll just say something first as a pause. Look, some of the things that we've asked you about already, and talking about what motivates you, I think what stands out is your commitment to the people in the community. You don't want to fail them. You don't want to, sort of not hold up your end of your commitments, and that goes a long way. That you're not even concerned about perfection. Just get that story out there, share that learning journey. So I think that's awesome. There's L.
I am here. I don't get up at 5:30 in the morning for just anyone. I think that's the first thing. I haven't had coffee yet. I've got someone sleeping on my couch. His name's Latin, so I've only had 3 hours sleep.
My word! Don't wake him up.
I won't wake up that anymore.
Yeah, please stop.
So yeah, I don't have much questions around this. I think just to echo what Joe said, I don't understand how humans could possibly commit to things like this, because I tried something around the world or around the office, and it was supposed to be a blog post a week or something, or maybe impossible.
Wait.
I did say.
I remember you started the challenge with me. In the first challenge I did, I invited a lot of people to join, and I remember you joined in Francois Pinard, and every now and then I'd see a blog come past, and then there's numbers missing in between, 72 or 14, and I'm like, hey guys, someone's not counting. Do you remember that?
That was, because I lost the count for the week or whatever it was supposed to be. So, and eventually it became whatever it's supposed to be. Great, there's a number. I think you've done an amazing thing. Are you going to compile them into like a book or something? I think that would be the question. How do people get hold of it in hard copy? I think it would be a great thing if you did put it into a book and handed it out everywhere and then preach the gospel of Tracy van der Schyff.
Oh my word!
Let's do that. I want a robe, sort of like
a robe.
Today's reading is from the book of PowerPoint, chapter 3, verse 2. Or should I say slide 2?
You've touched on an interesting topic there, because people asked me with the previous one as well. I actually did start compiling it in the book, the previous challenge that I did. And then I realized, and I think that's what we have to know about Office 365 and Microsoft 365. I'm, of course, a trainer as well. And I've a couple of times walked into class and said, okay, guys, so SharePoint, on the right, we have the settings wheel. And I'll go, wait a minute, that's not there anymore. Let me just quickly Google that. So if you put something in a book, by the time it's in a book, it's outdated. I don't
make it artistic, and then it becomes art as well. So a lot of your pictures, just actually do that then. Every blog post has got a front page, right? An image that you designed in PowerPoint. So take that. You can create a book, even if you go double-sided. The book will be at least 100 pages, right? Just of the main. No, I'm serious. Just the main slide thing. Do that.
What would the purpose of it be?
To put it down on paper in a book. Just the front page. You've done 700, and I can't count. What is it? 730. Say what? 730. Is it 730?
Well, 732 challenges. Yeah.
There's a number out there. It's not 9 a.m. So put it in a book. It'll be great, and then have the book. It's something you can touch. I can't touch blog posts. You can touch a book.
I'd like to touch a motorbike, so I'd rather buy a motorbike. Listen, Al, what I did do to help people is both the blogs, I built a manual index. Holy moly, that was painful on WordPress. So I updated it yesterday, and I was like 60 behind on the index, because I've got to manually go and add this index on a page. But both the blogs has an electronic index, which I kind of considered it becoming the book. Did I just get a buzzer from Daryl?
No,
what was that?
That's me trying
Someone's phone is vibrating.
The back channel. There's a couple of people that I'd like to hear from, but I think they have an audio issue. So please continue.
But okay, there's indexes for both. So for me, there is an electronic book with an index with everything. But thanks, Al. Great idea.
I want the book. I don't care. Go make the book.
So, Al, here's the thing. Everything she published is on the web. You can download it for yourself and make your own book.
Absolutely.
And you could publish it and then give all of the
How is Daniel wanting to be unfriended by me on Facebook? I don't understand his approach. Shit like
no, well, look, the 366th post that Tracy is going to do, apart from the wrap-up, is how to print this to a OneNote notebook, and then you can read it to your heart's delight.
You know what the thing is, Daryl? None of you people have actually listened. I said just the first image, which he talks about what the title is of the blog. That in a book, artistic, not text, just those things.
I heard you loud and clear, and I'm saying you should do it. Don't make Tracy do all the work. You should do it.
No.
I'm going to download 700 and odd images.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me do that.
Thanks, Daniel. That's so efficient. That's so efficient.
So I think I know we haven't heard from Phil Laurel. He said he's got audio issues. I think Lorian's vicariously sitting in the background because he was going to be with a customer. So maybe we won't hear back from him. Yeah, feel free of other questions. I mean, one thing that I want to ask too, Trace, I know I've asked about your motivation and that you're all about community and about people and teaching. What was that change for you? How would I put it? It was a journey across the first year, a journey across the second year. What would you say has been the biggest change in this second year, apart from the video? We've talked about that. What has been that change for you this second time around?
So content-wise, I think the first challenge, I was still a bit under this idea of only writing something once. So if I 14 years ago blogged about recording a PowerPoint, then I can't do it again. And then I started some of the things I put out more than once. some of the things were important enough for me to do twice and still get amazing feedback from it. So I don't know if that's so much of a change, but I think I got more comfortable in my skin. I mean, on the video side, definitely. And I mean, I told you this yesterday. I got so comfortable on the videos. Listen, I'm still not comfortable with it being bigger than this, okay? That screen's not going bigger. I will get there at some point. But I got so comfortable making those videos. I remember one of them, I was busy and like, listen, this is what you do in PowerPoint. And I went like this, and there was a glass of champagne. And I was like, oh, cheers. And I put it down and I carried on working. And some of them I had a Superman onesie on, you know. And sometimes I would snort laughter. I would just can't stop laughing. I mean, when I did that transcripting thing for Stream and I saw how much swear words were in my scripts, and I didn't swear in those videos. I was like, I get it. I swear a lot, but I did not swear in those videos. And Microsoft went and said, nope, you were swearing, okay? I was laughing so hard. It was unbelievable. So I think I really just started to have more fun. I had this idea the first time around. I was still a little bit, you know, scared of what people would say, and would someone read it and point fingers and say I'm being stupid. And then I just stopped worrying about it. I just stopped caring, and I started being me, because there's a place for all of us to be who we are, and we're different. I'm a crazy pants biker chick who travels the world with a sheep and has a lot to say. So I think be who you are and find your own style. That really changed me in the last one. I'm so comfortable, not hundreds, but I'm much more comfortable with who I am through this last writing bit than I was before. And that was a big change for me, I'd say. And then what was incredible, which is still crazy for me, because remember, the stuff I put out on social media was kind of seen by my peers. So it was also seen by most probably more technical people as well, even though I was writing more for end users, if that makes sense. But gradually it kind of filtered in there. So I always felt bad of someone looking at it and saying, good grief, I mean, what is she? She's writing about PowerPoint. I mean, what is this? I mean, she's not technical. That's like end user stuff. But can I tell you one thing? The most likes, comments, feedback I got was on creative blog posts. Unbelievable, from my peers, from people that I speak at conferences with, from people that I see all across the world. The stuff people like most with creative posts. We're so desperate to want to learn things that we don't always find somewhere. So that's also me, and I'm not saying what the challenge is going to be, but is to get in there and focus more on those little skills in between that we're missing. There's so much content out there, but there's a lot of stuff not being said. So I think that's what I got from this last one, Daryl.
Awesome. We do have a question actually from the online audience. There's Sandy Usia. I hope I said that correctly. So she's joined us from the chat, of course. She's interested to know, like, how from a statistics point of view, I guess, like what has the site views been like for your blog posts? Because you covered a lot and you've done posts for each day of the year. Have there been things that have been, you said more, the one about creative blogging was a really popular one. Have you seen any other kinds of trends and interests around site views?
So trends-wise, the blog that still gets hit the most, so in total, and I'm not talking about blogs I write for other companies, so just on WordPress, I've written close to about 800 blogs, okay? So the blog that gets hit every single day, it's the first block that gets hit, is promoted links. Promoted links. That's it. That's what people want to talk about, is promoted links. It's wrapping promoted links. It's shrinking promoted links. It's putting creative images in there. And that made me realize, and that's maybe something I can do a bit, because there's still quite a big audience that's not on online. I was so focused on online. But man, the guys love the creative stuff I did for on-prem, because you had to Jippo things, okay? Wasn't that great? So we kind of made plans and did things. So promoted links by far is the blog that got hit most. PowerPoint after that, I mean, that's just crazy. But people were so hungry for different creative ways of doing things, because especially in PowerPoint, I do things different, right? I do Photoshop stuff in PowerPoint, that's it. And we don't need Photoshop and fancy programs. I mean, you can do it right there. But so that I got like incredible stats on. There were specific blogs that were just on a permanent basis. It's the blog that gets hit first. When I look at stats as well, that are always, so numbers never mattered to me, but climb or growth was very important for me. So looking back and saying, I'm getting hits a day now that I used to get in a year or something, type of crazy things. I'm not worried about the numbers, but was also looking at the ratio I had between search and social media. So even though I did publish to social media, so LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and then of course I started through YouTube as well. Most of my hits came from search, and that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. It wasn't the hits that I got through social media. That was just making people aware of it, and people that followed me through WordPress as well. But at least 70 to 80% of my hits every day came from search, which means, and that made me feel very happy, is that someone would go and sit somewhere in the world and say, how do I record a video if I don't have fancy pants program? PowerPoint. That's what I wanted. So people could search for something, and it means that somewhere in the world, someone would find a blog that I wrote and I helped them. And that was, for me, stats-wise, that was important. If that kind of answers it, Sandy.
I think it does, and she's probably about 30 seconds behind us, but that's a cool answer. I think it's all about providing that help from the organic audience, those who don't know you but are looking for help, and you become that extended community. I mean, heck, this is how we got together. Look at the number of people on this call, and different places we are around the world, and those who also wanted to be there, but it's 3 or 2 in the morning that they're not able to make it. Hey, we haven't heard from Sarah and Liz for a little bit. Have you got other questions there? Yes, Liz.
I just want to know when the crazy pants stuff is going to happen. Because I'm all in.
Yeah, I want crazy pants with all the Office 365 logos on it.
Yep.
It's got to happen, Liz. It's got to happen.
I think that would be our next goal, Tracy.
Yeah.
I want that. It's got to happen.
And I think you heard it too, that like we were suggesting approaching Microsoft and taking the woman in technology angle and maybe getting them made up, delivered to the staff store, and then Lorraine even committed to wearing a pair.
Yes.
I think I did too, just out of fun.
I believe Daryl did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got crazy pants on now, so these are my.
Oh yeah.
These are they're more boring, so they're my house crazy pants. But there's just something else I wanted to add, Daryl, when I spoke about the stats and the people hitting the blog. That was very special for me. And I mean, I don't know where this video is going, but if I could use the moment and not get teary-eyed. But I had so many people follow me on WordPress as well, whether through WordPress or emails. And firstly, I'm so sorry that I drove your inboxes crazy this last couple of months. But I mean, I had people reach out to me yesterday saying, Trace, we're not going to get an email from you from tomorrow. That's like, we don't know what we're going to do. Okay. And I've had people reach out to me all across the world who says, hey, Trace, I'm responsible for SharePoint in my company, and it's just me, and I really struggle sometimes. And I just want to say, you rock, you're always there for me. I can always find what I'm getting teary-eyed. But I mean, that's the thing. That's why I wrote these blogs, is that I used to be that person. I used to sit somewhere and struggle on my own and not have people help me. And I didn't know that the community existed yet. I didn't know that you guys existed, and this whole big wild world out there. But there's a lot of people that doesn't have that support yet, or they don't know that it's there. They've got to kind of understand it, But there's a lot of people struggling in the world on their own. They get promoted into this technical role, and then they're supposed to do stuff, and they're doing scary stuff, and they sleep bad, and they get stomach ulcers. I was there, so that's the people that I want to help out. I've got people who does RSS feeds into their SharePoint sites with my blogs for users to learn from. That someone has a little snippet every day. There's people who write rules in Outlook that moves my little emails, because they're very small. They're like 3 kilobytes or something from WordPress, and it moves it into a separate folder, and they use that as their index. They go to that folder in Outlook because it always brings the synopsis in of the blog. They go and search there, quick steps in Outlook, and then they find my blog there, click, open it, go to the blog. I mean, that's the little things that so inspired me, and I'm so glad I could have helped those people. And thanks to everyone that came back to me and sent good wishes and stuff. And I'll definitely keep on writing. You don't have to worry about that. I I have a story to tell, and Microsoft is amazing, and what it's doing is absolutely incredible. So someone needs to stay positive and share the cool stuff in Office. That's what I'm going to do. And I also focus a lot on Office. A lot of people are writing on the more technical stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. Do you have any idea how amazing Microsoft Office is? And you've had it for years. I mean, wow, that's the foundation of everything else that comes on top of it. So I'll keep on focusing on that as well. That's another big change that came in for me, Daryl, is I stopped being ashamed of loving Office. I used to say, oh, no, I can only write about SharePoint, or let me write about Flow. And now I'm like, oh, let's write about Word and Windows and PowerPoint, and love that stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tracy, a quick question from our side.
Not the book again.
No. I want to know if you care about SharePoint Server 2019.
Are you serious?
Well, it's released. It's released. We finally have a preview of SharePoint Server 2019. And what would your advice be to the consumers of your blog post around SharePoint Server 2019? And is it a good investment? Should you worry about not doing that and instead going to the cloud, since data centers are coming to South Africa? What would you tell your people about SharePoint Server 2019? Thank you.
Okay, so SharePoint 2019. I'm going to answer this seriously because you asked me. I obviously love SharePoint Online, but there's people who are still going to use on-premise, guys. So 2019 is going to be amazing. It's bringing a lot of the online goodies into the on-premise side. And remember as well, I think everyone's going to go hybrid eventually. Okay, I don't think it's going to just be a one or the other one. So I think that's great, and that's it. That settles that. I'll write you a blog, Al.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, Tracy.
Absolutely.
And I will stop talking now.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I share a country with him. Do you know that?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can fit in that country with that big head, but
In the same city.
Tracy, I just wanted to take 30 seconds, if I can, to tell you that I think this group, specifically in the world in general, but this group in general, is very blessed to have you as part of it. You do inspire us, and you are oftentimes the only happy person in the group. Or I guess I should say positive person. There are times when we're all tired or whatever, but anyway, you just bring that light to this group, and I just want to let you know that, congratulations for this, but I already valued you very highly before you even did this, and I did take note of your new title, which is Crazy Pants Backward Chick That Travels the World with a Sheep. So maybe that is the name of your book, if you ever write one. So anyway, thank you, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And you know what? While I keep on taking these polls, we're going to keep on enjoying the happy side of me. I'm joking. No.
Dan, did you just say that you should write a book? Because you vehemently sort of attacked me about it.
Walked right into that one.
Now all of a sudden it's okay.
So
it's like a Trump thing. No, yes, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going to talk anymore, Al.
In my defense, Dan, don't.
So
Dan,
go ahead, Trace.
Sorry. Just on that, there is actually, I think my challenge styles is going to change, and this is actually something I have spoken to Christian Buckley before. It's something we wanted to do. Again, numbers is a thing for me, right? I've got this thing about numbers. So 365 hours is 12.5 days, by the way. And you do know that the second thing I love most in the world is motorbikes. So I've been kind of planning but not getting there, and I think I might do that up next. I think I want to change the way I do my challenges. I want to do 12.5 days at a time on a bike, traveling a big area, teaching schools and universities, and spreading the Office 365 love. I think that's what I want to do. I want to kind of get away from the computer and get out there. I think that's how my challenge is going to change. And every couple of months, I want to take 12 and a half days, which is 365 hours, and go teach kids, teach schools, teach, I don't care where, digital literacy and office, and just help people. So I think that's where the biker chick traveling the world with a sheep comes in. Have Brahm luck on the back of the bike.
She stated it. It's recorded.
You're going to be great.
It's live streamed.
I'm doing it.
Committed.
I'm going to do it. Which country wants to be up first? Let's do this.
Yeah, I think that was everybody. I can hear the whole
Yes.
world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, look. Let's just
Congratulations, Tracy.
to round it out. Yeah, let's just say a few words about Tracy. Look, I'll start off. Well, Dan actually started before. Yeah, thanks for being part of this group. It's awesome. I agree with Dan that you're just bubbles all over. Thanks for continuing to contribute. And I know, look, those people who are saying, oh no, we're not going to get that email from Tracy tomorrow morning, commit to one a week, twice a week, just keep at it. You can do it. You'll find your rhythm again. Next person.
Well, I think if the national economy or the worldwide economy drops because of this, you need to start posting again. Please consider posting again, Tracy. Thanks for brightening everyone's day, and I hope that they're not disappointed tomorrow. So, no pressure.
Oh, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, I've got to go feed my kids breakfast, so I got to go. This has already been 22 minutes longer than it was originally scheduled for. So I'm going. Dad, always great seeing you, mate. Tracy, I'll see you later.
Always leaving early, Alistair. Have a good day.
L style. Nick.
That's what happens when you share a country with a guy.
Kudos, Tracy, and congratulations. We're thrilled to have you, and it's been a pleasure getting to read all of the blog posts, catch up on them. I have many of them bookmarked to go back to. I refer to them frequently. So thank you.
You're so welcome, Sarah, and thanks for the feedback.
Congrats, Tracy. I think your attitude is just second to none. I love it. Whether you accomplish this goal or not, I think your style is just bang on, and it's exactly what people need now. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Joanne.
And Tracy, this is Dean. Thanks for the insights. A lot of motivational insights around blogging, and I really appreciate hearing those. So congrats again.
Thanks, Dean. Yeah, this is like making me feel quite embarrassed. I'm at this whole congrats. So I'm like, I'm so over that. I'm so tired.
We're trying to get you to cry online, so.
I can see that. Well, Al's left, so I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Tracy, I think it's been about 300 days since I've met you, and you've inspired me, and I can't wait the 60 more days before I get to see you again. So, yay! Mm-hmm. And we're doing crazy pants the whole week, honey.
Not Liz, not Tracy.
Not Liz, not Tracy. We got the t-shirts that we're making up for that. So, yep.
Awesome.
For those who doesn't know, we look very similar or alike, and at conferences we both wear crazy pants, and then people get very confused with us. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's why Liz has a video off, so we didn't know who was... Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, because it's confusing, because her video keeps on popping up when I talk. Even Teams confuses us.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, well, look, we'll round it out there. Look, thanks everyone for getting together and meeting with Tracy. And thank you, Tracy, for sharing your stories and your reflections about your journey. We do encourage you to keep going at a pace that is comfortable to you. And it's been awesome continuing to work with you. We're looking forward to seeing some people over at Ignite too, for those of us who can manage to come along. So look, we're all friendly people. Sing out if you see us walking past, and you see Tracy there, then you can see very, very much open to sharing her story.
They're gonna come up to you and say, Liz, it's so nice to meet you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like, nope, not Liz.
Not Tracy.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll end it there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Take care.
Roll that outro.
Bye.